Hey, where are you guys? I'm here with this cool cat. Brian, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hey, I'm Brian Spalding. I'm now a resident in Hawaii, where I used to be years and years and years ago. We were up in the mainland, my wife and I, doing music and working. I never quit a day job, so that was one of the lessons I learned from parents and whatnot. The older folks, you gotta go by what some of your elders tell you sometimes. So that's what I did, music and work.
Yeah, I always had a day job kind of thing. When I was doing the magazine, I was a gardener in Pebble Beach, and I had this really So Monday through Friday, I'd be digging the dirt, and weekends I'd hang out with rock stars.
So a gardener, not a landscape.
Well, actually, I called it a plant psychologist. I had a crew and stuff like. But it was
that's cool.
It was great. And the main thing, I've always been allowed to do what I want to do. So that was, and it keeps your art.
Right,
you don't have to sacrifice it or whatever, or play with Madonna or something like that.
Right. And I guess doing that kind of job, you could be kind of like set yourself apart from what you do in photography.
Yeah, kind of, because it really keeps your vision something. Well, how did you get started in music? What was the first? How did the rock and roll bug bite you?
So I was never bitten by the rock and roll bug. It took kind of a while for it to grab hold because my friends were in high school were into rock. At the time, I was into jazz fusion music. So early on, I was listening to people like Lee Rittenauer, Larry Carlton, L.D. Viola, and I'd listen to it, and I wished I could play it, but I never did. It took a while.
Yeah.
My friends were into the rock music. They didn't really care for when I wrote bring a cassette of L.D. Viola's music and asked if I could pop it into the, my friend had a Toyota at the time. I popped it into his blow pump. They didn't really appreciate listening to the jazz music.
Yeah, that's good because when you look at the old guitar player magazines, they all go hand in hand.
Yep.
It was like, D. Viola doing his whatever, and then you had, the latest guitar player came up, or Jeff Beck or something like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was all pretty the same, but I guess.
Right, yeah. And they are the same, and they're different too. So, I never really got into rock music until probably like towards the end of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then a friend of mine had a guitar, and I had an acoustic guitar that my aunt left over at her house. I figured, well, if he's playing, I can get into it and try it. And so it kind of came naturally because previous to that, my family was into playing Hawaiian music. All the family played acoustic and ukulele, so I played ukulele. So get my fingers used to playing on the fretboard. It wasn't that hard after all.
Yeah. Did you guys have secret family tuning? Most families have their own key tuning or something. Was it just an open tuning?
It was just normal tuning, yeah. My mom didn't really know any of that.
Yeah.
At the time, she played a lot of church music.
Okay.
But after I started to explore the guitar and get used to playing it, I found that I could actually figure out some of the stuff that I was really into, like L.D. Viola's music. Larry Carlton, Prince and stuff.
Yeah.
So I got into doing that, and then started to learn a lot of the rock stuff that my friends were listening to. I used to think back then that the Scorpions music, for instance, was like the devil's music. I thought it was scary. But then come to find out, Uli John Roth, one of the masters of classical melody, he was the guy on the guitar, so became used to it and appreciated it, and started to get into the nuances of his guitar playing as well. He's one of my guitar heroes back in the day.
Yeah, he was the Scorpions, early Scorpions. He was very influential for all my friends. We had a little code. If you knew some people, some bands, it was them, Lucifer's Friend, really the way out stuff. But Uli Roth really, until the end of the Scorpions career, really had these, kept the tones and good stuff. And it was, if you watch some videos with Herman Rebel when they first got in, there's that tension already. Because Herman didn't want to do the boring, whatever, but Uli didn't want to do He's the Man.
Right.
And we actually, with the magazine, John and I actually interviewed the Scorpion, Klaus and Herman back in '84, I think it was. And then Bob Malbadian actually was really good friends with Herman. Yeah, we said I'm going to dedicate this to Bob Malbadian because Bob's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was just, and they both had the same story. It's like Uli didn't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah,
Uli had his own thinking as far as music.
Yeah.
And the direction that he wanted to go in.
And there was 3 guitar players at that time. There was Frank Marino Mahogany Rush, Robin Trower, and Uli, and they all had the spirit of Hendrix in them somehow. They all either were sick or something like that, and then they all got that crosstown traffic Hendrix going.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Stevie Ray Vaughan that Stevie Ray Vaughan had the bluesy kind of Hendrix. But yeah, those cats were crazy. I still enjoy seeing old videos of Scorpions.
Right.
It was just like... And this guy, explain to everybody how you got to jam with him.
So, back in 2004, Uli started to tour in the U.S. and my friends and I, my wife, were Uli fans. And so we went to one of his first performances in Los Angeles. What's the name of that theater? It's up in
the Canyon Club?
No, it's like north of Los Angeles. Huge. Yeah, the Ventura Theater. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, the first time we saw it, so my friend Roy C. You know Roy?
I know Roy.
Yeah. Roy. Roy and I met back in the mid-'80s. A friend of mine introduced us, and then we would jam together and found out that we were really in love with Uli's playing and his music. So both of us would trade off with Uli songs. And kind of teach maybe each other parts that maybe we didn't know, the other guy didn't know. But it was fun jamming with Roy, and I still love the guy today. He's a great friend. But anyway, so the first time that we saw Uli was 2002. I think when he first started his tour. But anyway, the Ventura Theater, all excited to see him. He was like warming up or something. And the door for production was open, and you kind of see the back of his head, and you're like, wow, that's Uli. I can't believe it. So anyway, we're like, did he screw it?
Yeah.
But later on that evening, a friend of ours, Chris Liebenblut, he's the one that he's German Swedish, and so he introduced us to Uli after the show, meet and greet. And so from then, it was like somewhere around that time, we found out that he was going to start doing Sky Academy classes. And so my wife and I went to the first Sky Academy class, and he was kind of doing it on his own kind of thing. And he didn't really have a lot of help, so my wife and I, and she was like, we should help him out with some things, some of the administrative stuff, like, helping people check in and whatnot. So we helped him out with that. And through that kind of thing, we just kind of got to know the guy a little bit more. It wasn't the kind of thing where nothing was planned or anything. Yeah. We just saw that he needed help, so we jumped in. But anyway, over the years, we got to hang out with him and become great friends over time. And so that photo that you have, he actually called me to ask him. He called me to ask about getting the band together for Jason Becker's show. He just said, Brian, if you do this for me, that would be great. I want you to find the musicians and then we can do a set for Jason. So that's where that photo came from.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So Uli gave me a call, and we got
Uli called him.
Yeah. We got Paul Bosco to play drums. Jimmy O'Shea to play bass. Jimmy O'Shea from the Coffin days with Marty Friedman. There's also a Marty Friedman story too that can go on if there's time. But anyway, and then David White from Heath.
Oh yeah.
And another friend that was on keyboards. I can't remember his name, but he's really, really good. But, Uli chose the songs and sent us the set list, and we practiced it. rehearsals, I had to play all of Uli's parts and all the guitar solos so that the band could recognize what part they were going in and out, because they had just learned the music, and I already knew it.
Yeah.
So we rehearsed a bunch of times. Even at the rehearsals, it's great because you had Richie Kotzen rehearsing at the studio.
Yeah.
We were in Oakland,
Yeah.
at Soundwave Studios.
Yeah.
In fact, at Soundwave Studios, we used to have a studio right next door to Death Angels studio, which is great.
Yeah.
You know those guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at the Hourly studio, you had Testament at a studio down there. Well, it's not a lot of great things.
Yeah. Because the Bay Area has, the Bay Area still has, you guys are still crazy doing stuff out there.
Yeah.
Because Heathen's on the road right now playing
Right.
some stuff, and Death Angel's about to go on the umpteenth tour.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm so happy for those guys to get everything, going again.
Yeah, when the things where I was doing my first book, compiling them, but going through everything, it's like my generation doesn't know when to stop. Because technically, if you think like the Beatles, they kind of like 10 years and they didn't, first, even Deep Purple or Zeppelin or whatever, right? The main people didn't go that far. But like, you look at Metallica, Death Angel, Slayer, well, Slayer just retired, but those bands like Exodus, they're like going to be 60 this year.
Yeah.
And they're still doing monster
it's
sets. Yeah.
You need to have groups like that continue the tradition.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the way music is. That's so strange.
Yeah.
Rather than having a core band that came together through, writing songs and getting in the studio and putting out some product that by 4 or 5 guys that just naturally came together and built music. That's so strange when you get like people that are up on stage, just like one guy with a turntable and thousands of people jumping up and down spinning records.
Yeah, well, each their own, because sometimes, it's like,
and that's a whole different world.
Yeah.
EDM.
Yeah, there is those core groups out there doing stuff, and it's just, for me, if it rocks the boat, gets kids or people out there, whatever it is, it's good. As long as it's not like hurting people. I've been to some Slayer concerts with skaters, like Thomas show up with this Murder Sex Art t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going like, at any moment he can go like, and then the crowd just like, that was like, that was scary shit, I can't see some guy on ecstasy doing that thing going, okay, guys.
Imagine the power in that.
Yeah. Well, you kind of been on stage. You know how that goes.
Right.
Yeah. It's and you're linking with all these people somehow having connections. So that's kind of,
I wish you were at that show, that Jason Becker show.
Yeah.
Was so incredible.
Yeah.
All of his shows were great because it was like this mutual get together of friends, and everybody cared for Jason so much that it became like it's like a giant family. And so,
because he's one of those guys that just people talk about. The funny thing, no, I was a Marty Friedman.
Yeah.
Marty and I did a lot of stuff. My photographs of Marty got him in Megadeth. But that David White thing is pretty funny because I have a photograph of him, Uli, the guy from Mark Beetleman from Blind Illusion, and Kurt Hammett backstage when he first got here. And you just told me that story that he was actually singing for that thing. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Oh, so it's a revisiting for
kind of
David.
thing. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, the Bay Area was pretty fanatic about certain things before they got big to everybody else. Ron Quintana, hey Ron, I know you got there someplace. He had Metal Mania, and then we had Metal Rendezvous, and we just latched on to what no one else could do. So, and fortunately, all the bands up there were on the same level as everybody else. Yeah, so the fans, the band, the press, they all knew the same thing. And made it really, really...
It's good that you guys did that.
Yeah.
Because this thing going.
Because somehow you have to have some kind of press.
Yeah.
You have to have... I mean, it's okay to have a band, but then somehow you need to have something to say, well, this is happening over here.
Right.
Yeah, and there's little pockets of that happening everywhere. Because this thing, popped up and you wanted okay.
Yeah, the group I was in, Flametal, could have used some.
Yeah.
It's an unusual group.
That clip was crazy. Yeah.
And you have to see Uriah in that one.
Yeah. So that was a pretty intense clip. Yeah, it was really intense.
And that's a traditional flamenco song too. I mean, I'm not too sure how I can describe it, but Anda Leo is done in many different ways. So that was just Ben Woods, who was the creator of the Flametal band. That was his take on the Anda Leo type or style. So
Tell everybody what we're talking about because it's on YouTube, right?
Right. So yeah, Flametal, you could find that through Ben Woods, dear friend of ours. And, I was in the band since about 2004. And I can tell you a story about it. When I met Ben Woods at Soundwave Studios, and I had been rehearsing with another band that I was in before. But when I was in the lobby of the studio, Ben Woods was out there with his boombox playing this flamenco metal music, and the guitar player, the solo section, I recognized right off the bat it was Marty's playing. So I went up to Ben and I told him, "Yeah, I know the guitar player." And he said, "Oh, really?" And I go, "Yeah, it's Marty's playing." He goes, "Yeah, he had Marty play on his demo," which was awesome. Marty and I, we go back to like 1982, probably, maybe 1981. I'm not sure the date, but we're good friends to this day. But when Ben played me the music, he was in the middle of trying to find a lead guitar player that could do the stuff that he wanted to do, and so I told him I could try out for the Marty's stuff. So we said, and he kind of like told me like, "Well, I don't know if you'd be able to handle this, but you could try. So I took his demo, came back the next week, and played all the music that he gave me, note for note, and even embellished some of it. Just threw in my own little stuff. And then that's when the Flametal band really got together at that point, because finally I'm the guitar player. You already had the bass player, Uriah Duffy, who still today is a magnificent bassist.
He was in White Snake for a moment.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, in fact, he was with Flametal first, and then he was in White Snake, and he had to leave the band, so his girlfriend, Angeline Saris, took over. She was a phenomenal bassist as well. To make a long story short, Metal did a lot in the Bay Area, but I don't know if we got enough like what you were saying, press or somehow getting out there and even further into the general public. We did have some help from a Japanese producer. He helped us out. We had a Japanese release, and that did pretty good. But after that, it just got apart. So I'm not sure why it went that way. Didn't have strong legs.
Yeah, I mean the song you said this song is super intense, and it's flamenco, then it's thrash, and back to flamenco. It's really cool. I want to talk about Aaronsrod. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, Aaronsrod.
Yeah.
So Aaronsrod.
Wait. So if you guys know the program, there's always some kind of link to hard rock metal bands from the '80s, because that section here is kind of it's hard to find information on these guys and all like Passion or whatever, all that stuff. And he was in it. He was there.
Right. So Aaronsrod, that came about with a friend of mine. Really, when I got into the band was already set, but they were looking for a guitar player here and there. And so I happened to be playing guitar with another group at the time that was the neighbor of the lead singers. The lead singer of Aaronsrod lead singer, Angela Jensen, lived in this house. My friend Barry lived in the house next door, and I was jamming his band in the garage. And then one day, Angela asked, "Oh, you're a pretty good player. Maybe you want to try out?" So I kind of tried out for them. And they laughed, but there was moments where I would play note for note guitar solos from various players, and they were cracking up because they just couldn't find anybody that could play them. Then I just happened to be next door. You could see I was already right there in front of them all this time. So it's kind of like how the band really started to get together, and we played locally all over the place. Eventually we had songs together. Never Dice Artists is in the group.
That's crazy, yeah.
Gerard Gonzalez,
yeah.
drummer. And we went through a lot of members too. The core of it was Angelo, myself, and Edward. And then drummers kind of danced around. There's like Tommy Owens is one person that came in and played for a little while. You may know Tommy.
I might.
Ivar Sarapu was another guy. Howard Uchi was another player. Really great, all great players. But in order to write music, it took another piece of the personality in order to gel with writing songs. You know, when you get into the studio and you start popping out songs, just riffing and feeling each other out and knowing where parts of songs would go in and out and where a chorus and a verse would go. It started to just happen organically. That's when we knew that, this is the core. This is the guys that are going to actually do it. So, and we wrote all kinds of songs. Put together an album, recorded at Rick Asher-Keeper's studios, and then after that we worked on more music because when you play here in the islands, but you look at your heroes out there in Europe and in the States, and you kind of want to be like those guys, those people.
Yeah.
And so when we played places like the Blaisdell Arena a couple of times and did as many gigs as we could, it was time to move on. So the rest of the songs that we did that wasn't on the first album, took that and used that to play out there in California, Los Angeles.
So
we
the
went out there in 87.
87. Yeah, I was there from summer 87 and 88 to 94. Yeah. I popped up a flyer someplace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I worked with my buddy who was in Jailhouse.
Oh.
Yeah, the first lineup, not the rough cut.
Right.
Yeah, and we'd always go flyering and Sunset Strip and stuff. And like,
rough cut.
Yeah. Before.
Paul Schrick?
Paul Schettino and those guys. But yeah, Brian was.
I used to go to watch Paul Schettino's band. He played at a place called Captain's Cabin. You know where that is? On Victory Boulevard.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bar. Paul Schettino had a cover band.
Mm-hmm.
Man, killer guitar player, killer drummers. And the band members, I think, would always change. But that was a really good band.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think I took it a different way.
Oh, that's fine.
But,
During that time period, there was everybody. There was amazing guitar players. Amazing everything. Yeah. Even our people like Tamana went to GIT, and then Mike Love followed him, and Dave Adderley followed him. And so,
GIT?
Yeah. And so, but you can tell people who went to school because they know tone and space and stuff.
Right.
But for that generation, us older cats know it from like actually going to studios, and the engineer go like, engineers go like, oh, you guys put that shit kind of this way or twiddle this knob. I always thought engineers were kind of weird. They lived in a different zone than everybody else.
Yeah, and they're kind of like the if your band, if you got 5 guys in your band, they're like the 6th band member.
Yeah.
And they can make some suggestions that you think they're not very helpful, but if you're a young person in production, you really don't know what's good or what's not in some cases. Yeah. Unless you're like naturally gifted and you just have it all together.
Yeah. And sonically, they know what filter to put on, what noise gate, what not to do. It's like how far that mic's from your Marshall, or do you put it on the ceiling? Yeah, they're all crazy.
I learned a lot from them. We used to do demos at Pierre Grill's place.
Yeah, Pierre's a monster. He still does stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he does all the Time Monty stuff. He's doing Nick and Michael Tannenbaum stuff. He does nonstop. He's crazy.
I hope to run into him again. It's been a really long time. I kind of wanted to touch on the Marty piece.
Yeah, please.
So back when I was learning guitar, I'm still learning guitar. But I was always a Uli fan. And so through some friends, I heard that there was this guy that was really into Uli too. And at the time, back in the early 80s, Marty was living at his folks' place on a white tie. And he had like his own pad that was like apart from the main house. And so one time I asked his dad was like, if you want to take guitar lessons, come down and teach us stuff. And so I went to Marty's place and we got together, and it was right off the bat we started playing Uli music. And after a while, maybe half an hour before the jam, Marty was like, okay, I don't have to teach you anything. I know we just jam. So we did.
Yeah.
Played guitar. And, like, just do his music.
Yeah.
Beyond what he's playing.
Yeah.
But after meeting Marty, we eventually ended up working together, teaching guitar at Howard Sakamoto's
Oh, really?
location. Yeah. I was never supposed to teach the guitar, actually. Even though I know how to play it, it's different when you're teaching. But Howard was like, oh, "You got to teach guitar. You got to teach guitar. Teach it at my shop." So I was like, "Okay." So we worked out some kind of teaching program, and did okay on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a accredited instructor, but I did it for a while, and Marty did it too. And that guy was such an amazing guitar player. I mean, to me, he was always advanced, far beyond everybody else. And what he does today, he was still doing it back then. Yeah. But in a different way. Yeah. But I could see that a long time ago. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. You gotta get out of here and do something. He did.
Yeah, Marty and us on the magazine, we go back a long, long way. He sent us photographs when he was still in Hawaii or with Vixen or something before that or something. Yeah. And then when he got to the Bay Area, we did a bunch of stuff. And actually, we lived in LA at the same time. And Bob Nelvadian called, like, "Hey, you want to photograph Marty?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And we just had a great session. We, hung out right in Hollywood.
Okay, so let me kind of interject here. So Marty, he was with Jason Becker for a while there in the Bay Area. Yeah. And then so his transition to Los Angeles, because my wife and I had moved to Los Angeles in '87. Somewhere around that time, this is just by pure luck. I happened to be at Lucky's off of Ventura Boulevard in Laurel Canyon. Yeah. I was in the aisle, and who comes up the other end of the aisle was Marty. And we ran into each other in the aisle of Lucky's. And I was like, "Oh, shit, what are you doing here?" He said that he lived there too. Yeah. And he lived off of Laurel Canyon. He had a colony apartments on the third floor, maybe
something like that.
Yeah. So then, when I found out he was there, we would get together. So one time we jammed at this, he had a little gig. What was it? Was it in the bar bowling alley on Ventura Boulevard?
Oh, yeah.
So we got up there and jammed some stuff, so I was going over to Marty's place. Were you going over to Marty's place too? At that time?
Yeah, we saw each other at certain clubs once in a while. Yeah.
Okay. So when did the Megadeth tryout part of it?
Right. 88.
Yeah.
Right at that time.
So around that time, he would ask me once in a while to borrow my Marshall. Mm-hmm. So I always wondered if my Marshall was used at the Megadeth.
Yeah, there's a video.
And he took my MXR Super Distortion, and I never got it back. So.
Marty. I don't remember how he left the coffin or why he left it, but all I know is he was looking for a gig, and Bob on the phone told me, Marty's up to the Megadeth gig, he's up for the Madonna gig. Yeah, he'll take anything right now.
I remember that.
Yeah. And then, Dave got a hold of him, and the rest is history. That was yeah. And Marty's just a crazy guy. He still fanatical following. Oh, yeah. He made that transition to Japanese really easy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, because he was always into it. Yeah. He's always into that culture.
Yeah. No, once in a while we'd hang out. I mean, we just meet at the cat house or whatever. Mm-hmm. We had the same hair and all that. Right. He's a little smaller than I am, though. Yeah. Okay, let's geek out. What guitars do you like? You always have this Les Paul going on. Yeah.
I always did because of Al Di Meola.
Yeah.
So I never changed, actually. Yeah. I just kept the Les Paul. Yeah. In fact, my Les Paul that I have in that photo, I showed you that photo with Steve Lukather, you could see the color was really pink.
Yeah, doing research on it, he's kind of pinkish.
Yeah. So that color is a total mistake, and that was done in 1984. My guitar used to be a Les Paul, was a 1980 Les Paul, and it was a gold top at the time. like an idiot, I put in a tremolo system in there. It screwed up the tone, so I had that removed. And then at the time, Mitch, I think, did the guitar work, did the reconstruction, put in a block of wood to fill that hole.
Yeah.
And he asked me what color, and I wanted it to be that wine red color. There's usually a color that Les Paul's in. Anyway, so that's one of the colors. So I thought it was going to be that.
Yeah.
So when I went to the shop to pick up the guitar, he said, he goes, you might be disappointed because when the guy did the colors, the tone wasn't quite right. The mix, silver undercoat, but red didn't show up well. And when we opened the case, I saw the guitar with a fuchsia pink color. It's like I was mad at the time.
Yeah.
I brought the guitar home, and he said, just think about it. I can have it redone. So I brought the guitar home, and I sat it on the floor right in front of the television set, and I was sitting there thinking, nobody has a guitar like this. No one has, not even Gibson is in production with a guitar color like this. So I thought, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. And the other thing that you have to do to it, I think at the time, you kind of have to be strong within yourself to play a guitar with that color. Because especially in the metal style music that you're playing, people are going to want to see black or some pointy guitar, and yet I'm playing a rounded Les Paul with a fuchsia color. So I just stuck to my guns and just left it like that. And this is the history of that guitar. So they have that one, and then Dan for Dan's guitars. He helped me find my second Les Paul, which I've been looking for a long time. I always like the feel of a Les Paul Deluxe, not a standard or custom or anything like that. And what I would do is just route out the soap bar pickups and George Marzi's. I recently put the Jason Becker pickup in the treble with a bridge position. Awesome pickup. It's a lot cleaner, and you have to struggle with it to play and get the notes out. But I have a heavy hand on the vibrato and the picking part, so it's not a problem for me. But I like the way the tone.
So you're not a guitar collector then?
No, that's it. So I only got 2 Les Pauls.
That's amazing.
That's it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of friends that do collect guitars. I had a friend that he was in Aaronsrod for a little bit, and I think he's got I don't know, 200 guitars.
You know Toby?
He's got stacks. That was before Toby. Yeah, Rocky Onan.
Yeah. Do you know Toby though, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Hey Toby, where are you? Look, someone beat you to it.
Toby.
So were you guys in the band together?
Yeah. So Aaronsrod up in California was a version that Toby because when we got up there and tried to play the scene, things happened where part of the band, put it this way, part of the band wanted to get up there and test it out, and if it didn't happen, then the thought was maybe we would go back and restart again. For myself, I was more of the frame of mind where man, I'm up there and I watch the crowd and the people in the biz. I don't want to stop the momentum, so I wanted to try and get something happen. Plus, we live like right up the street from where all my jazz guitar. Secret go there and see all your heroes and the big potato.
Yes. Yeah.
Aside from that, so Angelo and I just kept it running up there, and so eventually we found Adam Curry actually played bass in his band, and Toby was in the group. We did all kinds of gigs. It was a nice time playing up there. I felt like after a while I thought maybe it would have been more beneficial to actually go to Europe and do the music that we were doing. Because for me, the LA style really wasn't my thing. And so we were influenced by Spalding. that whole deal. Yeah.
Not too many American bands
Yeah.
at all went there.
Yeah.
I think Twisted Sister went there, but only for like a tour.
Yeah.
Was their sign. And the other band, I can tell that it was the Stray Cats went to London. They moved out of Brooklyn or whatever. But yeah, no metal band ever. Like, rather than groundbreaking territory.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, Aaronsrod had a good run. We did all that we could, and then somewhere around '92, I think the band just kind of fell apart. Yeah. And then Angelo moved back here, and he actually put a band together with Gerard. They're called Native Tongue. They did a bunch of stuff there.
Yeah.
And then I continued up there. I actually played with a couple of guys. I can't think of the name, but it was a Russian singer, and we did some gigs. But it was, when I was with that particular band, I was able to put that guy, his girlfriend, dad, composer for a lot of music for the movie.
Oh, really?
And so, Aloha Josie Wales was one of his movies that he wrote music for. So they had a studio in the basement of that house in Honolulu. And so it was there that I put together a demo. And that demo, the timing of it was unreal. Because I put together the demo, and then I got this call from Jeff Short asking if I could try out for their band. And I had this demo that I just created. And that's what I sent that. So Jeff is in the Bay Area, Vicious Rubens.
Hey, Jeff. Well, Jeff doesn't social media, but Larry does.
Yeah, Larry. I hope he's watching.
I'll send
this Larry.
Yeah.
I chat with him once in a while on Facebook.
Jeff and I go back way back, like 82 or something like that.
Oh, so you knew Jeff when he was here too?
No, I knew when he moved. Yeah.
Okay.
He had the puppy little
Yeah.
And I think I photographed most of the Vicious lineup, even the Vinnie Moore lineup. Yeah. And then I think I did even the Mark McGee stuff. Hey, Mark. Mark's really. Mark's
Hey,
good.
Mark, watch it. I chatted with Mark so many times.
I'll tag him in it and stuff. Yeah, they're always doing something. Yeah, I remember the first session with Vicious. He's like his flying V with a zebra print.
Right.
Yeah, and then he had the whole zebra print like that. And then the old Waldorf had an elevator going straight down. There's parking chain, big, huge chains of chain out there. It's like all wrapped in chains and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, we did. It was like a long time. Yeah.
Jeff's so awesome. Such a great riff writer. He's like a riff master.
And they just got done with their tour.
Yeah. In fact, I just saw a photo with Ira was with Jeff.
Yeah.
They were doing some gigs.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's incredible that Jeff's been able to keep that machine going.
Yeah. Well, thanks to all the European people like Bart Gabriel and Jew, those guys like there, because they just love the metal.
Yeah.
And they'll put on a package every year. They'll get Wood Up Telstar or something like that, and they'll bring them out. And it's just like they really respond to people all the stuff going. And then like my buddy Kate and Hyrax, and they'll just do these tours. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to say Huntington Beach, but
I think I know the guitar player.
Yeah,
it's amazing all the people that
you spend time in the California scene, and I know my scene, so yeah.
Well, I was surprised you knew John Carnera.
Yeah, everybody, because the Metallica connection. Yeah, him and Slagle and Rob Mavedian. Yeah, Canards actually paid for the first Metallica demo.
Right.
And they never paid you back, did they? So I think he has the actual. I think Lars finally bought the master. Yeah.
Roy Z and I, we went over to John's house. In Hollywood. And, spent some time over there.
Yeah.
At the time, we were looking for, because he had some video footage that with Uli that we had never seen.
Yeah.
Nobody had ever seen.
Yeah.
And I saw a bit of some clips of that stuff.
That like 77, 78 Scorpios. That's really good stuff. And the super rare one is when Michael went back. I think they did like 4 or 5 shows in '79.
Yeah.
Like they did Tokyo and then Reading Festival and stuff like that. Like wow. And I was good friends with Michael for a while. And yeah, because when I lived in Hollywood again, and he was clean and sober, super smart, super him and Robin McCullough. I've seen him everywhere. Yeah. Then the next I saw him, it was with UFO, and he was like.
Oh, that was at the Edge?
Yeah. I saw it 6.
So you know Bobby Cannon?
Yeah.
He's friends with, right? Yeah, he's friends with.
And not, and then when they came back, Shandy came back by himself, he had, sorry, Kelly, I forgot your name. Kelly Keating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was another hair farmer, had his hair down here. Yeah. Kelly was a great singer, but somehow...
Yeah, no, we saw him on the tour.
Yeah.
He was a killer singer.
Yeah, Kelly was, because I knew him from a band called Meridian, and they changed their name to... Sorry, guys, I've got totally... They did 2 albums on Atlantic. Yeah. And so, but I used to know hanging out with them and stuff like that, yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, and that was because it was Keystone Palo Alto. Yeah, and the part of the Keystone family. Yeah, and we saw tons of people there. And then we were like when Saxon came for the first time, we were up on Keystone Berkeley, and then they played the Stone, and the last thing they did was Keystone Palo Alto with Trauma opening up.
Right.
And I knew Cliff already, and it was like, okay, there's Cliff. He's opening for Saxon. So like, yeah. And I think, I want to say Vicious opened up at this Keystone Berkeley, but I'm not too sure. I remember that. Yeah.
I wish we were there for some of those things.
Yeah, it was just crazy. So
that's some awesome stories.
So how did you get to the Bay Area? So you're in LA.
So
wait. Hi, Toby.
Hey, Toby. So, Jeff Thorpe was the reason why we moved to the Bay Area. Really, if I hadn't gotten that call to come out there and try out, they had their studio in Aloha.
Yeah.
And so, when my wife and I got up to that place and saw the town, we just fell in love with it. And we're in, maybe a year or 2 after the riots, I guess.
Yeah.
Things went downhill in our neighborhood. Hollywood.
Yeah.
We were on Lancashire and Oxnard, and that was across the street. So we were thinking, one of our neighbors, like Hell's Angel guys, stopping over once in a while. They broke the door and the security guard to the building. We just needed to get out of that environment. So, going to see Jeff and finding out Alameda was such a great place. So I moved.
What year is this?
So that was in 95.
Okay. You know Doug Troxel. Doug would hang out with him all the time. Yeah. He's kind of a quasi man. He took care of Jeff. Yeah. Big Doug. Listen, he died in 2005 or something. Yeah. But yeah, he took care of Jeff forever. Yeah.
But gotta hand it to Jeff for thanks for introducing us to Alameda, man.
Yeah. I have a quick Jeff Thorpe story. So Blackmore's doing a hospital tour of Blackmore's Night, and and he's playing the Keystone Palo Alto there, right? And nobody, I know one person that actually met Blackmore, kind of thing. He's like super elusive. Lars can't even hang out with him. That's how elusive. And so Vicious opened up for him, and Richie's coming in, and Jeff's off stage, and Jeff runs and hugs Richie, and Richie's going, yeah. And so,
Hey, that would have been a good shot.
I would have, but that's one of the time period where no one had anything going on. I was just kind of like hanging out once in a while. Yeah. So what kind of bands were you in the Bay Area then?
I was a too.
Yeah. Did you like jam with people? Or
so I was with a group. Actually, I played with a Thin Lizzy tribute band for a lot of years, and that was a really good band.
And you played Scott Gorham.
Well, I played different roles in that one. Guitar, but
I think with the hair and
right. But that was a great group, and that was like before the tribute band thing was happening.
Yeah.
And so we did several gigs with Terry Lauderdale.
Yeah, Terry.
Right?
Hi, Terry.
Van Halen
Yeah.
tribute
Yeah.
project.
We knew Terry for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. They made a couple of trips over here with Randy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
I like when we used to go to the NAMM show. Terry's band would always be playing.
Yeah.
Right at the hotel.
Yeah.
But always good to see him. So I just love the way he played. There's a lot of feel.
Yeah. It's pretty intense.
And it's always like climactic.
Yeah.
And just all over the Bay Area. But wait, I think I went in a different direction again.
It doesn't matter.
Where did that guy?
I know. So yeah, you're jamming with Lizzie kind of thing.
The Lizzie tribute band.
Yeah.
And then I was also in a band for a short while called Churchfield. I had a friend of mine's Gilmore, who was from here, and he actually worked for Jeff Thorpe's masonry business back in the day in the 70s. So that's what my friend Gil says. That's how he knows Jeff. So there's something there where I didn't know Jeff's dad had some business here. I didn't know he lived here at the time.
Yeah, I knew Jeff lived here. And then Gary St. Pierre lived here for a little bit too. Yeah. And so, like I said, I photographed that lineup with Vinnie Moore. And so,
Right. I rarely see pictures with Vinnie Moore.
There's only two photographers. They didn't play live.
Yeah.
There's only two photographers. It was me and Jim Marshall.
Oh, so you got more pictures with Vinnie in it?
A couple of group shots.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to see them just But so there was the Churchfield group I was in, and then there was the Lizzie tribute band, and basically that was it. But while I was with the Churchfield band, if I wasn't in the Churchfield band, I wouldn't have been rehearsing at the rehearsal studio before I ran into Benny and got into the group for metal.
Yeah.
That whole road. Ben, unfortunately, he passed away not long ago. So I really missed the guy, but he was such a prolific talent. I mean, Ben was a killer musician, but he was also a great artist.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the metal shirts that you see, he did a lot of that art. He was a color separation guy too. He had a friend that played in the band. The guy worked at the same facility where they made the t-shirts. Who's that? And your friend was too.
Oh, Craig.
Right.
Yeah. Craig Brohorst.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because the Vish Zuma connection, because Carl used I forgot Carl's last name. Carl was a singer in Ruffians.
Right.
And then he went to Vish Zuma's. Yeah. Man, small world.
Small world.
Especially in the Bay Area, because one of those things about the Bay Area compared to LA, you're born in the Bay Area and you kind of stayed there. You don't have to go places because you're there, right? Mm-hmm. In LA, everybody moves to LA.
Right.
Very rarely
true.
There's like only a couple, like Armored Saint, or MX Sound, or MX Machine.
Yeah.
Those people were born there, but usually it's like Huntington Beach or in the Orange County area.
What was that other group? There was a group in Los Angeles that was really wacky. But the guitar player was like, Toby knows the band, just used to go and watch him. But the guitar player would put on this costume like he was a little nun, and then they would throw balloons and balls and stuff. What was the name of the band? They're excellent. Toby, make a note, put it in the comments. Remember, the band that we're talking about. Anyway, those guys are awesome.
I would see a bunch of weird, because I was actually in the Tool Green Jello crowd. Because Bill Mansby, they came from Buffalo, New York, and there's a whole herd of Buffalo people. Herd of Buffalo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so my buddy Dougie and Kenry, Tobias, they were on toe-to-toe with Callus. And, when you're, what's his name? Billy would get best bass player, and Dougie would get best bass player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they all moved out to North Hollywood. Yeah. And so, yeah, it was you know, it had to be there.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to do something, because you're not going to do anything in Boise, Idaho.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the same reason why we moved there.
Yeah.
To try to do something.
I think a lot of people here at a point, and even Henry Cabano moved to LA for a while, because you know you can only do so much here than you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, and the new generation, Mike Love moved to Oregon, Ron Artis moved to Nashville, and because it's hard to tour.
And the Artis family.
Yeah.
They're always.
Yeah, they're always
Everybody.
Yeah. Ron's the first of 11 kids, and yeah, and then Ernie, his bass player, is still based here, and he's flying everywhere. Yeah. It's, I mean, that's one thing that keeps me here. Is there's so much talent in this place. You know, I don't have to go too far. Yeah, it's amazing, and it's not just heavy metal or rock. There's all sorts of stuff. I mean, you got Thomas McCain just doing the whole jazz vibe and stuff, and it's just like,
oh, I got to go see that.
Yeah. And Thomas is an amazing vibraphone player. My favorite story is one of the first songs I ever knew was in prenatal, and it was Cal Jeter's Soul Sauce, and yeah, the whole. And then that was my dad played all the time. Yeah, you know, it's like one of those things. And so I got to be friends with Gerald Velez, who was Jimi Hendrix's percussion player at Woodstock. And he moved here for a while. We were hanging out. I did photographs for him. And then he did the Blue Note, and Thomas was there. And that's one of the songs they did. And I'm going, holy shit, wait till I talk to you. And then when he was on the podcast, I told him that story, how it's full circle.
Yeah.
He did that song note for note, and I know that's one of the things I know. But he didn't know the back end story to the song, but that was fine. I did. Okay, so we talked a little bit about LG Mill. What other guitar players? What really made it for you? Also, I really want to do that.
So the two people that are actually as a bunch of people that really brought my own style together, my own interest in the music. It was Michael Schenker, LD Miola, Uli John Roth, Larry Carlton.
Yeah.
And I guess I would have to throw in there Lee Ridnour, George Benson too. Rip off a lot of stuff from George Benson and apply it in metal guitar playing.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, everything's already been done in guitar, but the way you apply it is different.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of stuff that I noticed that George did that you could apply it to. So I did it too. Ripped off a lot of riffs, modified them maybe a little bit, stretched them out, tried to make them my own. And then,
the early George Benson, I really like a lot. I'm a little generation before that. I'm with the Kenny Burrell, Wes Montgomery lane, you know, and Wes had a whole different style playing and that whole fat tone. And then the next one was George Benson, and the early stuff was phenomenal before he got all showy. So, like B.B. King before he got showy. Yeah. You know, there's like up to 74, 75, he was just, you know, blues before the whole orchestra and the whole schmutz or schmoosing, whatever, or the Jewish people say. Yeah. Because some of that, there's in 73, he did an Albert Hall recording and a song called Hummingbird, which is like probably his best song ever. Yeah. I mean, he's just doing that solo, and it's just like, you know, that's where, I mean, Chicken Skin is thinking about it. It's like, that's B.B. King for me. Yeah. And like, unless Buddy Guy, no matter what he does, it's great. Yeah.
We're lucky enough to see Buddy Guy at Universal Amphitheater.
Oh, really?
We saw Gary Moore there too. I know you got some Gary Moore.
Yeah, I saw Gary Moore just before that. Yeah. And I got to photograph at the Sunset before Ross Halfin did, and got to spend, and all of a sudden, I did 3 or 4 shows with him. And Uli played the day before at Wolfgang's, and then Gary. Right. And Gary left and the place burned down. But I was already in LA with him. And backstage was Michael Schenker and Gary Moore, and he has Eric Singer in the band and stuff. Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like,
I want to see those pictures.
It's on Facebook someplace.
Okay.
I have hundreds of thousands of photographs everywhere. But we're trying to clean things up and, rescan them, put them on the website and stuff. Yeah.
That was so cool.
So you only have 2 guitars. That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, just 2 Les Pauls.
Yeah.
I never had that urge to go and explore other guitars. Once I played an instrument,
Yeah.
a certain amount. So one of my goals in guitar, just I don't know if a lot of people are into it, but else into it. So one of my goals in guitar, because I wasn't a vocalist and I couldn't sing, was to try to get to sing on the guitar.
Yeah.
So I love long lines that are very, soulful, soothing, not arpeggios, but vibrato.
Yeah.
There's a lot of vibrato, a lot of heavy vibrato, different types of vibrato. Quick sometimes, but most of my vibrato is wide and slow. It just feels good, and it transfers over to the people.
Yeah.
So we would play gigs, and I would look into the audience, and if I'm hitting a certain note and getting the vibe back, then it was the juice. That was the stuff that I liked, and so I always played like that. I didn't play music. Drink and party and get girls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was more about the mana and the feeling and getting that vibe. And you circulate that feeling. And it comes back to you. It feels so like almost.
That's the artist. That's the
like
artist thing.
love.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's what I'm into.
So what are you doing now? I mean, I know you all kind of wind down a little bit.
Yeah. So over the years, family, for everybody, I think, you get to a certain age where you have to help out your family in certain ways.
Yeah.
And so it was like that for my wife and I. And so over time, our family members needed help, my in-laws needed help. My uncle, my wife, helped him a lot during his elderly years. He was older. And then my dad ended up getting cancer and stuff. So I moved back to help him to go through that and help get him healthy. And so that's what changed our tracks.
Yeah.
We're in the Bay Area. Things are kind of going downhill anyway up there. The company that I was working for was, I retired from them a little early, but I'd already put in the years, so that was kind of cool. So the timing of taking care of my dad and moving back here, all kind of worked out. Things started to get a little too loopy and dangerous out there in the Bay Area too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even in the little town of Alameda. So we made the move back here. And actually, this is like the date that we moved back here back in 2022.
Wow.
This date.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
So are you up for jamming or anything?
Oh yeah.
Have you been jamming with Toby at all? Have you got
No, we haven't. We call him.
Yeah. What's the matter, Toby?
He's chatting.
Yeah.
There's a couple of times we met at Chase or whatever and hung out.
Yeah.
But right now, my wife and I we're still in the middle of getting things together at the place that we're living in now.
Yeah.
And we're still working on it.
Yeah.
Renovating and I got paint on my arms. But I just got done painting the front room.
Because I'd love to see you jam one day.
Oh, I'd love to see myself jam.
Yeah. So I know a couple of people looking for gigs, but usually everyone wants a drummer. No one can find a drummer they like.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard to find drummers and singers.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
It always seems to be the case. I know there's too many guitar players. But that was the case back in the 80s. I don't know how it is today.
Yeah, it's still.
Oh yeah. No, I'm open for jam. Totally.
Good taste. Say it again. Give a shout out. Tell us anybody you want to say. Say hi to somebody. Wish you say hi to your wife.
There's a long list.
Go ahead.
My wife Lori, of course, I say hi to her.
Yeah. Well, I got to thank you because he showed up my gallery show. And it was so cool to actually, I mean, we kind of pass each other here and there.
Yeah.
Actually, I have that photograph from 2019 at the Hoku.
Yeah.
And I tried to print it. It wasn't coming out. My printer was goofy, and I wanted to give it to you today so badly. Yeah, but so we've been passing each other for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then finally, like, you know, it was good.
And I was always interested in meeting you because I had heard your name way before meeting you, right? Because it floats around.
Yeah.
Especially out in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
You know, and so you wonder, so photographers wise, another one, Ross Spalding.
Yeah.
Get to know him, get to know Brian, and then Richard Ryan, you know, he's a photographer too. But then I hear your name, but I never get to meet you. Finally, we get to meet, have a chat.
Both old Hawaiian guys now.
Yeah.
Because you're part Hawaiian, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would say maybe 75% or more.
Yeah. Because you're Hawaiian Portuguese?
Yeah, my dad's Hawaiian Portuguese, a little bit of Scottish in there, and my mom's full Hawaiian.
No, really?
And that family goes back to the island of Meeting House.
Mm-hmm.
My grandpa was a Honolulu.
No, really?
And he worked for what page is it? Can't remember the name.
Yeah.
Anyway, in Kauai.
The Parker Ranch? No. Yeah, the Robinson Ranch.
And then something like that. And then after that, he worked at Pearl Harbor.
Okay. Yeah. Because my grandpa's full Hawaiian, my dad's Portuguese Hawaiian, my mom's Mexican. It's Mexican, not Hispanic, not Latino, Mexican. Get it straight.
And the Mexican side is where? On your
no, my mom's side. Yeah, my dad's Hawaiian Portuguese. Yeah. Very musical. He was like very, he didn't play anything.
And your mom's straight?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No. Yeah. Seventh generation California Mexican.
So can you cook?
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's all I want to do because you met Hector.
Yeah.
And Hector's straight Mexican too. And so he's always kind of like.
Where to behind good
Yeah.
Mexican food.
Yeah.
You know, when you live in Los Angeles, you run into a lot of good Mexican food.
There's that one place on, was it Lancashire? After Moore Park. And it had the Skylab burrito a long time. It was like this big, huge. Yeah. Was it Lancashire? I think it was Lancashire. Yeah, that's where I lived like 2 blocks from Bloomfield. Whatever it was. Yeah. Yeah, and there's a couple of shady places on Ventura Boulevard. They're shady. You know those typical Hollywood producer things where they go in and the lights are all dark and you can't really.
Right. Those are good though.
Yeah, good food, but it's kind of shady. So.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah. And then, it's good.
We're into getting like, see who did the best Louisiana style fried fish. Whiting was the thing that we were always looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Who did that good? And in the Bay Area, there was this place, kind of in Berkeley, almost near Berkeley, that, talking about a shady place. It's like really run down. The place was dirty. And these 2 guys are cooking up fried fish. You could get like, it looked like it was about 4 huge pieces of fish for like cheap.
Wow.
And they're really good too. We never questioned what it was like in the bag, rather than to chase away rats and roaches.
Yeah.
But the food was really good.
Yeah. Well, it was nice meeting you, man. I mean, hanging out. We got to hang out more. Yeah.
Definitely, we'll do that. Do that for sure. Yeah, that's great.
So, see, what do you want to say?
Okay. For everybody out there, I have to say that travel the good road. That's my words. And I miss everybody that I'm not there to be with or see out there, especially in the Bay Area, and some that are in Los Angeles. But if you guys ever travel out this way, just get a hold of me on Facebook. We can hang out. Already did that with some friends already. But good to see everybody. Good to hang out. Finally hang out with Bill and have a chat.
Yeah.
So many people we know.
Yeah.
Mutually.
Yeah. Okay, so we're live in Proof, and thanks to Annie, Jasmine, and Louie. They're not here today, but they're here in some place usually. And Proof's on the other side of Chinatown, the Bear Canyon side. So here, aloha, guys. Talk to you guys soon.
Easy.